Hi everyone, it's Lucy from My Crazy Craft Life, and today I'm here with a design team post for Fairy Stamper. Today I'm going to be making this card, and I am going to be using a few stamps and a stencil from Fairy Stamper. I'm going to be using Once Upon, Snail Library, Amia, and Morels stamps, and then I am going to be using the Orbs Stencil. So I'm going to start out by stamping the images. I am using a stamping tool just because I want to make sure that I get nice, clean, crisp images, particularly because I'm using colored inks. I want to make sure that those get on there really well. And then I am going to use my scan and cut machine to cut out all of the images. So I'm going to be making a few of the morels, and for those I'm using a few different colors. I'm going to use some greens, I'm going to use an orange, and some browns as well, and just kind of mix it up a little bit as to how they look. I will ultimately end up getting in there and coloring those. Now you see I did not clean off the little morel stamp. I just kind of moved it over. If you're going to do that, you do need to kind of really make sure you're careful that you don't, one, get ink everywhere because you're going to have it on your fingers a little, but also that you don't move it once you put it down there. So again, I'm just going to move it around, stamp that image, and then cut them out with the scan and cut. Now I'm going to use the stencil, and at this point I was just trying to decide how I wanted it. And I'm only going to be doing a top and a bottom row. I'm going to be using some little tape that's not very sticky. It's like post-it note tape to lock down the stencil onto the card base itself, or the panel itself. The panel is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches, which I do end up cutting down later. Now I am using 2 different Distress Oxides. Peeled Paint and Salvaged Patina are the 2 colors that I'm using there. And I'm going to put the blue, or the bluish color, towards the top and the greenish color towards the bottom. And how I lined that up was I just used the lines on my work mat and lined up the tape with that so that it was 1 inch. Now when I cut this down, I'm going to cut the front, top, and the bottom. I'm cutting it down to 4 inches by 5 1/4, and I'm going to take the same amount off of each end of the top and the bottom so that that's still even. I am going to use the Once Upon a Time stamp, and I'm going to use my embossing tool so that I don't get embossing powder everywhere. I'm going to stamp that with some embossing ink, and then I'm going to use the heat tool to heat that up, and I'm doing that with black embossing powder. So I have the border on the top and the bottom. I'm going to put the sentiment right there in the corner, and then I'm going to kind of piece the images together after I color them. So here I'm just going to heat that up, get it nice and shiny and a little puffy. Now I'm going to use the alcohol markers, and I'm just going to color up these images. I'm using just a few different colors, not too crazy or anything, to give some colors, different colors to all of the images there. While I'm adding the colors to those images, I just want to let you know that you can check out Fairy Stamper at fairystamper.com. We have a couple Facebook pages that you can jump into, the store page as well as Fairy Hugs. And once you make something, make sure you show it to us because we love to see all of those different things, as well as you can get a lot of inspiration off of those pages from the design team and as well as other people. Make sure you hit subscribe for our YouTube channel, and you can check off the little bell on the side so that you can make sure you get notifications every time there is a new video from someone from Fairy Stamper, and that way you can get all of that awesome new inspiration right away. Now, like I said, you can also go to Facebook as well as the website to check those out. So I'm going to kind of finish up. Now, I did do every book that is in this library, the spine a different color kind of on each, at least one on each level as I was kind of going through, or on each shelf, not level. And I just thought this was really cute. I will end up using some sparkle pen on some of the areas just to give it some sparkle. And I am going to be just using the clear Spectrum Noir sparkle pen when I do that. Now, I wanted to give the card some dimension and make it look like the fairy was actually putting something away or pulling something off of the shelves. So I'm going to pop the fairy up with some foam squares. And in the real skinny areas like her legs, I'm just going to kind of cut the little squares that I have in half or even in thirds to get that down there. And then I'm just going to start adding all of the images kind of where I want them. Now, I wanted to kind of make sure that she was going to kind of be standing on that border's edge. So I wanted to make sure that the snail fit in there properly, kind of where I needed it to go. And then add the other small morels kind of all the way across as another little border that she'll be kind of standing next to. I'm using liquid adhesive just to adhere all of the other images except that fairy where I used those foam squares. So just to make sure that's there. And I like to use art glitter glue. I think it's more of just a personal preference of what people like. I like that because it dries quickly and it dries very clear, so I like that. So here I'm going to start using the sparkle pen, and then I will get that adhered to the card base itself. I am going to use a black card base. I'm going to use double-sided tape, and the double-sided tape I have is 1 inch, and I really like that because it gives it a lot of solid stability when you're putting, or you want to adhere like a whole panel onto your card base. So I'm going to pop that around, get that double-sided tape on there, and pop that on, and that will be it for the card. So I hope you enjoyed this. Like I said, make sure you check out other videos on our YouTube channel, as well as checking out the store. And I hope everybody has a great day. Take care. Stay healthy. Thank you for joining us.